For problem number 2, you are to create a flowchart that will display odd numbers from 1 to 10. And the output should look like this. First, we have to create the pseudocode, the flow of the program. The first thing is to initialize num equal to 1. So we are going to use variable num. Number 2, output num or display the value of num. Next is to increment the value of num by 2. So why by 2? Because we are going to generate odd numbers and their difference is 2. And then we compare, is num greater than 10? If num is greater than 10, the program has to end. But if not, then the program has to repeat steps 2 to 4. Let us now turn the pseudocode into a flowchart. First, we begin with start button or the start symbol. And then we initialize num into 1. That will be our loop counter variable. Then we have to display the value of num. Followed by, we have to increment num. So we set num is equal to num plus 2 so that it will reach the condition which is to become 10. And then we compare, is num greater than 10? If yes, the program has to end. But if num has not reached 10 yet, then we go back to this part of the program, which is to display the output or display num, and then increment num by 2, and then compare again. Since we have created the pseudocode and the flowchart for problem number 2, this time, let us test the program. Let's see how it works by simulating it. So we have here num, and then we compare it to 10, and then we display the output here. So we follow the flowchart. Num is equals to 1, and then output num. So we have to display the value of num, which is 1. And then num is equals to num plus 2. So we add 1 to the value of num, and this one will become now 3. And then we compare. Is num, which is 3, greater than 10? No. So we have to go back to this part of the program, which is to display the value of num, and that is 3. Then is num equal to num plus, then num is equal to num plus 2. So we add 2 to the value of num, and that becomes now 5. Then we compare. Is num greater than 10? Is 5 greater than 10? No. So we have to display again the value of num, which is 5. And then we follow this num is equal to num plus 2. So we add 2 to 5, and this becomes 7. So this is now the current value of num. Now we compare. Is num greater than 10? Is 7 greater than 10? No. So we have to go back to this part of the flowchart, which is to display the value of num, which is now 7. And then we add again 2. So the value of num now will become 9. And then we compare. Is num greater than 10? Is 9 greater than 10? No. So again, we display the value of num, and the current value of num now is now 9. And then num is equal to num plus 2. So we add another 2 to the value of num, and that becomes now 11. And then we compare. Is 11 greater than 10? And that is true. So if it's true, the program will end or the program will terminate.